Hey guys, Dr. Josh Jagoda here, and today I am going to share with you how to protect your hands, your wrist, your fingers, and maybe even prevent some elbow pain when it comes to jiu-jitsu, because we all know that jiu-jitsu and judo, they're really hard on your hands and fingers, and I see a ton of injuries as a result of that, and I've treated a bunch of them, but some of them can be really pathological, meaning really severe, and some can be really easy sprains, strains, but at the end of the day, you guys listening out there to this episode, you know you don't want to have deformities or jiu-jitsu fingers, right? So what we're trying to do is help prevent that by doing certain mobilizations and movements, and I'll show you those. First things first, I really recommend that people take preventative care of their hands, but you know, that's up to you at home if you want to do that. So first things first, I'm going to state the obvious. You know, if you have a sleeve and somebody's really tugging on it and it's hurting your fingers, you can let go. You know, that's just an option, obviously. You could transition a little bit to more no-gi stuff to keep your jiu-jitsu and your movement patterns there, but at the same time not hurting your fingers. And then, of course, the taping, which I will show you in another episode on how to do that. So, after we've done the obvious, what can we do at home, because we don't want deformities, right? And if you look at my hands, I really don't have that many deformities after about, 8 to 10 years of jiu-jitsu, or about 8 years of jiu-jitsu on and off, but then of course I've had some wrestling. In addition to all of that, I am a chiropractor, a sports medicine chiropractor. I work with my hands every single day. I work on people every single day, so the combination of 7 years of chiropractic, 8 years of chiropractic, 8 years-ish of I guess you could say jiu-jitsu, and about 5 years of wrestling, there's a lot of strain on my hands. But as you can see, they're not too deformed, and they don't really have those ugly lumps the way some other people do. So that's because I take care of them first of all, and when it hurts, I let go. So one thing you can do at home, aside from stretching your fingers, and I'm going to show you how. A lot of people take their finger and they bend it all the way back, which is not bad, but it's not. You have to be careful. So first, you want to do joint isolation, right? So depending on which joint you're at, you're gonna go up or down on the finger. So if we're talking about this little pinky or this index finger here, and we want to really mobilize the metacarpal joint right here, we're going to want to isolate that joint. We don't want to just pull back. Now that's not a bad idea to stretch the tendons, but you really want to do joint isolation. So if we're talking about this, we're going to open up like that, and then we're going to come back through just like this. We're going to mobilize back and forth. And then same thing if we move up into the digits, up all the way here, up and down. And you'll get a little bit less motion through that. And that's one way I take care of my fingers, just like that. Another way I take care of my fingers is just literally by stretching and elongating them. So I'm actually going to be pulling outwards like that at each successive joint. You have to remember that the joint really in this area of your fingers are really dense connective tissue, and they have really strong ligaments in here. So sometimes just stretching for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 seconds, it may not be enough. You may actually have to stretch and hold for up to a minute, maybe even 2, because these are very dense fiber cartilage. And as a result, when you have that trauma, it's going to build up and build up and build up. And that's what makes these kind of, I guess you can say, deformities, or these jiu-jitsu fingers kind of, it's that buildup of the scar tissue and the cartilage and all that other stuff that kind of keeps compounding after the injury, or the cartilage has been worn down. This is bone being laid down to help protect this. So what I'm doing here is giving the joint some decompression, taking pressure off of the joint as I mentioned, and then I'm also kind of translating that and really kind of isolating that joint into the area that I want. I'm not just, let's do whatever we want with it, right? So we're really helping prevent scar tissue. Another thing I do is I take like a lacrosse ball and I kind of massage my palm or fascia or the hand. I stretch the hand and the wrist and things like that. Finally, my biggest tool that I have in my office is the Graston Technique, which are some stainless steel soft tissue tools. And believe it or not, there is one that is very specific for the hands, just like this. So this is actually designed specifically just for the hand. So on the tip of here I have a little bit of a what we call an emollient, so just like an oil, just so you can kind of put it on here. And so what we'll do is we'll take some Graston here and we'll kind of work the joint just like that. And I'm gonna get up and show you here. So we're gonna take it like this and we'll come in, we'll work the fingers, we'll work the tension of the tendon here, we'll bend it, we'll get into the joint space a little bit, and we'll work the back side, the front side, the joint, helping for that reduction in scar tissue and improving that joint mobility. Because what happens is, as I mentioned before, is that after all this stuff happens, you're gonna get this deformity, which is just, again, laying down of scar tissue. You're gonna lose your range. You may be gaining your strength in terms of your skill of jiu-jitsu, but that's just skill. But you are going to be really decreasing your range of motion. And a lot of people out there, professional athletes, have lost a ton of range of motion and they won't be able to make a full closed fist. And so if you're really talking about function and looks, you know, it's better to prevent all this stuff from happening. So in our office, when we do this, we're going to work through the hand, the fingers, and I've done this to myself even when I got injured plenty of times, and it really makes a big difference. And of course, you really want to make sure that you're taking care of the forearm flexors, because they do cross all the way from the forearm down through the wrist and into the hand. So make sure that you're stretching out the forearms, the wrist, the fingers, and isolating each joint, in addition to the Graston technique and massage. So hopefully, guys, this gives you a little bit of insight on how to protect your fingers with regard to jiu-jitsu. And if you want to see something else in the future, leave a comment below. Thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.